every week is a minute slow. Hold on.
It's only turned on.
Yeah. It's I mean, you get the alerts on there, 5 minutes and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need a clock here, but.
When we start, I just have to run through a couple announcements real quick.
Perfect. There's plenty of room on the screen.
And we're all ready to get started right away. Hi, I'm Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. This is Steve Crisp. He's been very anxious. I don't know if you saw his hand at all like this before we started. But he's anxious to get started, so we'll get to that really quick. You're on ampup88.com, where you guys come every week to amp up for the race. Just a couple announcements, then we'll get to some fun stories, and this will be a really good chat. First of all, Steve, they have Dale Jr. autograph items on the site they give away every day.
Okay.
So that they can all, Junior Nation can all win those.
All right.
There's an off-the-track video series that they have. Mark Malden, the pit crew coordinator for the 588 team, he's on this week.
Okay, good.
And then, I don't know if you're into Twitter at all, but TJ Majors, his Twitter feed is on the site too. So.
That's Chinese to me. I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Twitter.
Well, some of them like
Techno
Twitter.
peasant.
So, Techno Peasant,
Yeah.
Okay. Next week, we're going to be chatting with Chris Vasulka, who's the gas man for the 88 team. And but I have a special announcement before we get started for all you guys. Thursday, August 19th, start marking your calendar right now, 7:30 p.m., Dale Jr. is going to be back on the chat. So that's kind of cool. And we're going to be live from Bristol Motor Speedway with an audience. And it's an Amp Energy Juice powered chat. And so basically, it's going to be part of, you can actually go to it if you're up in Bristol. You need a special ticket, so if you go to bristoltix.com for ticket package info, you can attend it live, or you can obviously join us from your computer like you are now. But make sure you mark your calendars for that. Again, it's August 19th, 7:30 p.m., and I'll remind you later in the chat. But it's to promote Amp Energy Juice, so that'll be a cool night for everybody. But right now, this is Steve Crisp. Steve is the director of Hendrick Performance Group, but he has long-time ties to the Earnhardt family. So I guess before we get started, first, Flate 23, he's the first question, and he's wondering, what exactly is Hendrick Performance Group? I don't know this myself, so what is that?
Well, we're an extension of the Hendrick Automotive Group, and what we do is we oversee Mr. Hendrick's car collection. We oversee the Heritage Center, and oversee production of some old cars that are really neat. We put new components in them, and we build a lot of new cars. So if you take a new car of your choice, let's say it's a regular Mountain Dew, great product, tastes good, everybody loves it. What we do to them when they're done, they're more like an amp.
Gotcha.
So
Oh,
something
good.
extra.
Okay, gotcha. So that sounds like a fun job.
Oh, it's a hoot.
Yeah.
It's great till something gets broken.
Yeah.
Not real good after that, but up to that point, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, for those who don't know, you were a longtime spokesman at DEI, and can you fill some of them in on your background?
I first met Dale Sr. Around 89 or 90, and had some friends at General Motors at the time that opened some doors for me, and did a lot of work with the Delco battery division of GM, and got networked and interfaced with a lot of the different teams and car owners and drivers and what have you, and went back to work at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated full time around 95 or so, and I was there till we started Junior Motorsports, the Bush team, and that would have been in around 05, late 04, 05, somewhere in there. So after Mr. Hendrick and I had been talking about doing something with muscle cars and old cars for quite a while, and I put together what's now Hendrick Performance.
Okay. Let's see. We have some questions here, and you guys, I'm sure he'd share some stories with you. But I want to start off with a question that Dale Jr. submitted himself, if you wouldn't mind answering.
Okay, this will be good.
He says, ask Steve about peanut butter sandwiches, Rockingham, and my father. It's all the same story.
Oh, yeah.
What's he talking about?
This was great. I guess it was Dale Jr.'s rookie year in the Busch Series, and of course, that was the AC Delco or Goodwrench sponsored race, and Dale Sr. had a lot of his higher ups within GM and GM parts there that that he always courted when we went to Rockingham twice a year. And he wanted Junior and I to go to dinner with him, and we told him we'd already eaten. We'd had peanut butter and jelly in the hotel room and told him to have a good time. We were going to stay there and watch movies or play video games or something, but we passed on the big steak dinner. He wanted us to have a GM so he'd have peanut butter and jelly.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, it was great.
Had to be good peanut butter.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. You can't really
He
go
didn't have
wrong
to wear a
with peanut
suit
butter.
or anything, you know. He just
Yeah.
had peanut butter and jelly. It was great.
That's good. Some people remember you from the radio show you did with Dale Jr. SBT8 fan wants to know, do you miss doing that radio
Oh
show?
yeah, we had a lot of fun with that, you know. And it was kind of like a cross between an episode of Jackass and watching the Three Stooges. You know, we had fun, had a lot of guests on there, but you know, we had a good time doing it, and it was a lot of fun, and got to meet a lot of interesting people. Had a lot of fun there with Junior. So yeah, it was great. I miss it.
You mentioned the performance stuff that you do with the car collections. We have a question here wondering, what is your favorite car in Mr. Hendrick's collection?
Mrs. Hendrick, about a year ago, she called, and we have a hard time finding out, you know, figuring out what to get him for birthdays and Christmases and things
I
like
bet.
that.
Yeah.
And she had called and said she figured out what we could get him for Christmas. And I asked her what that was, and she said a black Trans Am. He's watching Smokey and the Bandit, and now he's decided he wants a black Trans Am. So we found this really cool Trans Am. We bought it from the original owner, and I'd have to say that's my favorite.
Yeah.
And it's got the, you know, it's got the bird on the hood, and it's got the decals all over it. You know, it's so tacky, it's cool.
That's awesome. Let's see. Dale Jr. Fan 50 is wondering, what is your favorite memory of the Earnhardts or working with them?
Gotta be a tough one there. It's kind of like the '60s. If you remembered it, you weren't really there. No, there were a lot of different things, you know. It was really fun, I guess. Overall, the best thing was kind of watching Junior go from a kid, you know, just driving a late model and doing what he could do, whatever his dad told him to do, and then you know, kind of developing into a champion and winning races, and you know, ultimately, you know, a guy who gives a lot of his time, does a lot of stuff for other people. So, you know, that's probably overall, that would be the best experience there I can remember. Did
Junior turn out the way that you thought he was going to when he was?
No, he's a hell of a lot worse than we wanted him to turn out. No, he's good actually. He, you know, there's a lot of challenges we had there. You know, when we lost Dale Sr. and Junior stepped up to the plate and you know, he did a good job with that. I'm real proud of him, and I'm sure his dad would be too.
Yeah. Kind of jumping between Earnhardt questions and Hendrick performance questions. Beckbeat555 is wondering how many cars are in Mr. Hendrick's collection.
Well, in the Heritage Center, we got 137.
Wow.
And we got 42 more in the off-site warehouse.
Wow.
So, and those, you know, all of it was built on selling and buying cars, so I'm sure any of them can be bought. If any of you are interested, just call in. We'll make you a hell of a deal.
And some people are also asking, the Heritage Center, can the public go see any of those, or is there a way to see any of these cars?
It's not open to the public at this point. We're working on some plans, you know, to ultimately do events and different kind of programs. Maybe we can get AMP to do like a sweepstakes deal and bring 100 guests through or something.
Good idea.
88 guests. How about that?
I like your thinking. Now
That's what I do.
Here's an interesting one. You may have to be creative on this one.
Okay.
R.J. Rice says this is their last live broadcast on the AMP chat until I head off to basic training with the U.S. Air Force. Any advice?
Keep your head down. No, I don't know. You know, the thing, you know, we've had a lot of interface with the military. You know, of course, Junior Motorsports had military sponsorship up there, and then we have National Guard here at Hendrick Motorsports. And it's been really interesting to meet some of the folks in the military and see some of the things that they go through. And I think everybody, you know, needs to get a look at what these folks are giving up so we can live the life that we've grown accustomed to living, you know. So I appreciate everything they do that enable us to play with old cars or go racing or do web chats or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they make a huge sacrifice. So, you know, just be careful, and we hope you make it home. That's the best advice I can give you.
Yeah, thank you, RJ Rice 142. Okay, now we're getting people who want some dirt on Dale Jr. Dale Jr. Fan 50 says, tell us an embarrassing or funny story about Dale Jr.
I don't think we got the time to do that, do we? This is a half-hour deal. You know, Junior, it's not really embarrassing. He was just always entertaining. You know, it's hard to remember all that stuff. He's just always a lot of fun, you know, and his take on things was always interesting. So he tended to be more entertaining than most normal people. So I don't really, you know, I can't sit here and come up with a specific thing, but there's a whole slew of them. I remember one good story. He got his first company car. His dad gave him an Impala SS, and he put these big wheels on it and lowered it and big stereo, and his dad came out and he was livid, you know, about what he'd done to this car. You've ruined it. And he says, I got a good mind to make you pay for it. And Junior said, well, that's cool. I got a checkbook that thick and I'm dying to try it out. So, I always liked that pretty good.
That's cool. Let's see. Obviously, you've followed NASCAR for a long time. Dale Jr. Lover is the screen name, is asking, what's your favorite track?
I'd have to say Bristol. Just the fact that you know something cool is going to happen there, but the most impressive, I mean, as far as just going through the tunnel of a track and then seeing it and, you know, kind of being awestruck would be Talladega.
Yeah, yeah.
Phenomenal place.
Well, on the flip side of that, Dances with Cat wants to know, what track would you like to see lose a date if Kentucky gets the date? That's been the news this weekend, that Kentucky is going to get one.
I don't know. I hadn't really had to travel to any of them in a couple of years, so I don't really have an opinion on that one.
Yeah.
I think, you know, Kentucky's a great track. We went up there with the Busch cars, and it was a lot of fun. So, I don't know. I don't know where you'd take one from.
Yeah.
The race at Pocono this weekend was great. You know, it was a good race to watch. So,
it's going to be tough. ERV Mary is asking some specifics about what you did at Junior Motorsports. What job did you hold there? She wants to know. And when you worked at DEI, can you tell us a little bit more about your job duties there?
At Juniors, I was director of motorsports there. So what we did is we assembled the, basically started the Busch, or the nationwide team now. We went out and, we didn't have a building, we didn't have cars, we didn't have a truck, we didn't have the first employee to work on that type of car. So put the whole thing together basically from scratch, and then just kind of got it up and running. And Kelly, of course, was she was in charge of the entire company. So I was kind of on the motorsports front, kind of a conduit to her as far as what was happening at the track and what was going on with the race teams.
Yeah. You must be kind of, to see it now, especially with Danica running that, it must be kind of satisfying to know you, played such a role starting that.
It was cool, being there at the entry level of it. But I knew when we merged with Hendrick Motorsports, it was going to grab a gear, and it took off. And I'm real proud of all those guys and girls up there. I'm tickled with what they've accomplished.
Dale Jr. Fan 50 is asking about all these cars that you work around all the time. If you could have any car, what would be your dream car?
Well, I got more now than I can pay for. I'm like one of those old women, when they pass away, they find like 900 cats in their house. Kind of like that now. But if I could have any car, we've got a Mercedes AMG 65 Black Series over in the building, and it's spectacular. It's like a land-based F-22 or something. So
wow.
It's pretty cool.
That'd be
my favorite.
Let's see what else. Chevy Jr. wants to know, do you ever go to Junior's place or spend any time there?
I haven't lately, because Mr. Hendrick's been, just keeping us pretty busy doing what we're doing here. I haven't been out to Junior's in a while, but real cool place, real relaxing, really, really neat place to hang out, and a lot of fun. But yeah, we've been pretty busy here lately, so I haven't been out there in a while.
Somebody is asking, Guard Wife L wants to know, where did Junior get Laverne and Shirley?
I don't know what the story was then. We were kind of running the race teams, and I went out there to get him to sign some entry blanks or something one night, and I see these two buffalo out in the yard, and I was kind of like, it was okay. I thought it was kind of cool. You're just not used to seeing that. I told him he was a sissy. He should have got a woolly mammoth, but
they just showed up when you were out there.
Yeah, I don't know where they got them. I guess they're like the real deal, though.
Yeah. Smokin' Ace 8814 wants to know, what is the best part of your job?
Probably the people.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that that I've got a lot of guys that work for me that work for Papa Joe and have been with Rick 25, 30 years. I think that's really cool. And I've got a real diverse group and they're real entertaining. So I'd have to say the people. The cars are just dumb hardware without the people with them.
Yeah. Angela Garrett wants to know, did you watch the Shaq versus show last night? She thinks it was great for the sport.
No, I missed that. I was doing yard work.
Yard work?
Yeah, I have to watch that. I have to TiVo that or something.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's kind of funny. I don't know what you guys. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the chat.
Let's see if we can get one of my PR girls here to handle that for me.
There you go. Let's see what else. Foxy Coxy wants to know, do you have a favorite sport besides racing?
I like to watch hockey. That's pretty cool.
Really, hockey, huh?
Yeah, hockey's
You have a favorite
cool.
team?
No, not really. I just like watching it. It's just entertaining to watch. And I like college basketball. I like to watch college basketball pretty good.
Yeah. All right, well, we are already halfway through here on Amp Up the 88.com, if I can say it correctly.
Amp Up the 88 chat.
Yes, that's what we're on. And this is where you guys come up to Amp Up for the race every week. And just a special, we need more questions, obviously, but a special reminder, Thursday, August 19th, that's the day we were talking about before, 7:30 p.m., Dale Jr. is going to be on the chat live, and we're going to be doing it with a live audience from Bristol. So you can either watch at home or you can come up to Bristol and hang out with us, and you can ask questions there even. But you're going to need a special ticket, so you got to go to bristoltix.com to see about those packages or whatever. And it's all going to be to promote the new Amp Energy Juice. And it's basically Amp Energy in a juice formula. So that's what it's going to be all about. Speaking of Amp, we actually have an Amp question here.
Okay.
Submarine Mike, who I've met at the Tweet Ups before, he's in the Navy. Speaking of the military.
Thanks, man. Thanks for serving.
Since I'm drinking a sugar-free Amp while watching you, what is your favorite flavor?
I like this one right here. In fact, I made them get it for me. That was part of the deal. If I would do this thing, but they had to give me a free amp. So
you come cheap. You have a cheap
I like
price.
the grape. Well, I hadn't sent the bill yet, but I do get the amp. So one of the fun things when Dale Jr. signed the agreement with Hendrick Motorsports and announced that Amp was his sponsor, the Amp folks were kind enough to bring in a couple of refrigerators up to the shop, and it was pretty cool because everybody likes to taste new things and eat new foods and what have you. And we had like every flavor that they made coming in sporadically, like once a week, and it was like we'd make an announcement, hey, purple Amp's back here, come get some. And then we'd get the blue ones and the orange ones. So it was kind of fun going through that whole deal. And then everybody picked their favorite. So I like the purple ones.
All right.
It's a Traction.
It's a what?
Traction.
Oh, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I missed the boat on the title with the color. I haven't connected them all yet.
I can take a pull off this, right?
Oh, yeah. Feel free. JBack21 is wondering, which cars are you currently restoring for Mr. H?
We just finished up a 70 Chevelle Super Sport convertible with an LS9 in it, which is out of the new ZR1 Corvette. We're working on a 69 Camaro for him right now. We've got a 72 Z28 we're doing. And then we've got a new Camaro we just gave him yesterday.
Wow.
He's a high dollar guy to pay for our test pilot, but he does pretty good. So he's expensive, but he does a good job. So we just gave him a new Camaro to test drive for us. And let's see what else we got going on. We're restoring one of the Luminas from Days of Thunder, the actual car that Tom Cruise drove.
Really?
Yep, we found it, and we're restoring it right now. And then we're working on a 92 ZR1 and a 66 SS 396 Chevelle.
So you have a ton of cars going on at one time.
Oh yeah, we got 10 or 15 going at any time.
Wow, that's amazing. Let's see.
Building something really cool for Junior right now, but he can tell you about that on his Amp chat.
Okay, so you guys make sure you ask about that August 19th. Please do, because we'll be anxious to know about that.
Yeah, he'll have it by then.
Speaking of Junior, and this is a question that a lot of people ask me at the track every week. Dale Jr. Fan 50 wants to know, what is your take on Junior's beard? Is it good luck?
I don't know if it's good luck. I think it looks cool, and I envy him because shaving's no fun. So props to Junior.
He's smarter
than me. Yeah, he's got a beard and he doesn't have to shave every morning. He's smarter than I am.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah,
I could see that.
I kind of like it. You know, it kind of gives him like a Grizzly Adams vibe.
Yeah. SPT8 fan again is wondering, who was the toughest person to work for at JRM, Junior, Kelly, or Miss Brenda?
Well, Kelly scared the hell out of me. She wasn't hard to work for, but I knew not to cross her.
Right.
None of them were hard to work for. They were a lot of fun to work for. Kelly reminds me more of her dad, though, than anybody. And she's no nonsense, straight to the point. You know, you respect her, and you know not to push her. And but she's not hard to work for. You know, she's like her dad was. She gives you straight marching orders and then steps back and lets you do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they were great to work for. She was wonderful.
That's interesting. Dale Jr. Insider says, Steve, can you please do your best Sterling Marlin impersonation and share the story behind it?
I don't know what.
No? Doesn't ring a
I'll
bell?
get the clicking noise.
Sorry, Dale
Technical
Jr. Insider.
audio problem there.
Backbeat555 is wondering, you said before that that Mr. Hendricks cars aren't ready for the public to see yet necessarily, but does Dale Jr. ever get to sneak a peek at them?
Mm-hmm. Actually, we took a couple of his cars unbeknownst to him and have them in there now. So.
Oh, yeah?
Some of them are his. Yeah, he's been through there a time or two, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sun VGG is wondering, you know, we're going to a road course this week. Do you enjoy when NASCAR goes to road courses?
I love the road courses. I like to see a big, heavy car like that go left and right and bounce off the curbs and the sidewalks and stuff. It makes for a real entertaining race.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
Let's see what else we have here. Sheck Diddy 24 says, when you left Junior Motorsports in 2008, what non-racing interests were you pursuing and how did that work out?
Hot rods, muscle cars, building old cars, so worked out pretty good.
Okay. Do you have a favorite memory of working with Rick Hendrick?
You know, there's a bunch of them. He's a lot of fun. He's a real kind man. He's a lot of fun to work for. Me and him were out driving a Buick he bought, a hot rod. It was a Grand Sport, which is kind of like a Chevelle.
Mm-hmm.
And we were out driving it, and we'd been telling him the whole week how great this thing ran and what a fun car it was to drive. And we got in it, and we're about a mile up the road and ran out of gas. That's pretty cool. They're probably one of the most powerful guys in the automotive industry, and we're sitting alongside the highway out of gas.
Thumb up?
Yeah, over $3 worth of gas. That was pretty cool.
Shaft Dog wants to know, what is the first race you ever attended and how old were you?
I went to Darlington, and I guess I was about 7 or 8.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really cool. My dad took me there, and he took us, you know, to a good many races as kids, and it was a lot of fun.
You remember who won that day?
Cale Yarborough.
Cool.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Since you're, you know, kind of a muscle car guy and everything, Beckbeat555 asks, do you wish Chevy had gone with the Camaro for the new nationwide car?
I understand where they're coming from. You know, they didn't want to compromise the envelope of the car, you know, just to make it fit within the templates. But you know, you got a Mustang and a Challenger, and it seemed like it'd be a natural fit for it to be in there duking it out. But I understand why they didn't want to change the way the car looks.
Right, right.
It makes sense.
Jeb21 asks, if you could change one thing about NASCAR, what would it be?
I'd probably look at the schedule, you know, making it easier on people and their families. I know it's a hard, grueling schedule, and you know, and it gets tough towards the end of the year, and you know, everybody signed up for that. I mean, they know the schedule when they get into it, but it is at times hard on people and their families. That's about the only thing I can think of.
Right. Mr. H88, I assume maybe it's MRH88, I assume that's not the Mr. H. If we asked Dale Jr. to tell us an embarrassing story about you, what would he say?
He scared the hell out of me one night when we were testing at Watkins Glen. Back before he had the motor coach and all, he stayed in a hotel, and we would stay in the same room and we'd watch TV till 2 in the morning and go to sleep. Well, you know, I flopped and talked in my sleep, snored, what have you, and middle of the night I wake up and I thought somebody was breaking in to kill us, and it was Junior standing at the door, and and I don't remember this, but I don't doubt it because he said I got up and hollered at the top of my lungs and like threw a shoe at him and then laid back down and went straight to sleep. So that
You threw a shoe?
I think, I don't know. I was asleep. I slept through the whole thing.
That's funny.
Yeah, he said I hollered at the top of my lungs and threw something at him and then boom, right back to sleep. So.
Well, thank goodness you didn't hit him, I guess.
Well, I don't know. He might have needed it. I mean, I don't know what he was doing up at 3 in the morning.
Let's see. I don't know if you know this because you're not familiar with Twitter necessarily, but Mike Davis is actually a pretty big personality on Twitter.
He's famous now?
Yeah, he's famous. So Dallas Junebug wants to know if you have any embarrassing stories about Mike Davis.
Well, there was a story when he first got married. He was telling us one of his ambitions was to go get some chicken wire and have chickens at his house. And that I thought, you know, the guy just got married and all he's worried about is wrangling a bunch of chickens. I thought that was kind of squirrely.
I have to ask you about that, Mike.
Yeah,
if you're
you
watching.
need to ask him about that.
All right. Dale Jr. Fan 50 is asking, who are your favorite drivers of all time?
Of all time, I would have to say I always like Cale Yarborough real good. Big Dale. That's a tough one, you know, because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
You know, Tim Richmond was pretty phenomenal. Of course, the King.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just, you know, there's a bunch of them. I mean, I like them all. Even, you know, a guy that never really accomplished a whole lot. He's still pretty good, or he couldn't do it at all. You know, so I think they're all pretty stout, or they wouldn't be able to do what they do for a living.
Right. Racing Fan for Life is wondering, what do you think about the new Chevrolet Volt?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
I'd just soon burn the gasoline, though. I know dinosaurs don't need to die in vain. So I think it's a great concept. I think probably before it's all over, the electrification of the automobile's coming, whether we're ready for it or not.
Right.
I just like the sound of big motors and tires squealing and all that. So you need gas to do that.
Sun VGG is wondering, did you restore for Dale Jr. and Dale Sr. When the Almighty was alive? He says. We had different projects going on. Yeah, we had all kinds of old car projects and new car stuff we were doing, and yeah, there's always something going on. Yeah. Do you know anything about Ron Fellows? He's driving at the road course this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Sun VGG says he's the best and wants to know what you think of him.
He's phenomenal. When Dale Sr. and Jr. agreed to drive the Corvette in the 24 hours of Daytona in '01, you know, Ron was one of the guys that was instrumental in kind of getting them used to that car. You know, he and Andy Pilgrim and the rest of the drivers in those cars are really great, but Ron's a great guy, and he's got a ton of talent in those cars. And he and Terry Labonte, if you watch them go around the track, you know, they're deceptively smooth. You know, it looks like something on their cars broke. They're coming around so slow and so smooth, but then you look at their time and they're flat digging. You know, they're second and a half faster than everybody else. But he's great to watch.
Cool.
Good driver, nice guy.
Here's our last question for the day is SPT8 fan wants to know, outside of the NASCAR people, is there anyone famous that you want to meet that you haven't met yet?
I can't think of any.
No?
No, I mean,
Nobody
you know, I've been
out there?
pretty fortunate. I've got to meet, you know, a lot of TV stars and movie stars and presidents and stuff like that. I can't really think of anybody.
Presidents, that's not bad.
Yeah, well, a couple of them weren't.
Yeah. And on that note, we will wrap up the chat. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and thank you, Junior Nation, for all the great questions. Be sure to come back next week. We're going to have Chris Fasulka, the gas man for the 88 team. He'll be here at 12:30. That's August 11th. And don't forget to start marking your calendars now for August 19th, 7:30 p.m., Dale Jr.'s Chat. It's powered by Amp Energy Juice, and it's going to be live from Bristol Motor Speedway. And again, you can either watch it on your computers or you can go and hang out with us live. So just go to the Bristol Tix website for that and just try to see if you want to come join us. Again, thank you, Steve, for coming.
How's this for product placement?
It's very good. I think, yeah, it looks pretty good. It's good. You're a pro. Definitely a pro.
Seen the movie.
And we'll see you guys next week.